ChatGPT versus Google search. ChatGPT came out, took the world by storm. Everyone loves it, playing around with it, asking questions, making Seinfeld scripts, writing code, all of these great things. And then the articles emerge. Google got smoked by ChatGPT. Is ChatGPT the next threat to Google's dominance? Google faces a serious threat from ChatGPT. And in this video, I just want to sort of question the, why is this the sort of perspective that is happening? There are some great articles and pieces that maybe it's not such a clear threat to Google's dominance, but just overall it was really interesting. This, as soon as people are sort of interacting with ChatGPT, all of a sudden saying Google search is dead. And, for many reasons, I think this is definitely, I err on the side that this is an overstated threat. I'd like to share why. First of all, just continue to sort of take a journey down that path, which is, people saying, hey, I typed in a question on Google search and then I typed it in on ChatGPT, and oh man, the other idea is, hey, wow, ChatGPT gives you such great answers and it only gives you one answer, and that's fantastic. But what I'm struggling here with is just sort of the bigger picture of this, and I'll get off my pedestal and just talk about a couple points. First of all, OpenAI funded $1 billion investment from Microsoft. Incredible team. I love the innovations that they've made, and also some of the focus that they've brought on these systems in the world today. However, they are interacting with information. The way that they are training their system is through the world's information. And who organizes the world's information? Yes, Microsoft has Bing, but generally most people, when thinking about that, think about Google and Alphabet. I know that you understand that mix. And so they're like using, I'm guessing some sort of scraping mechanism from that's even leveraging information off Google search itself to train the models that then create ChatGPT. So it in itself is reliant on Google search. I'd like to also sort of talk about just the technical talent. Obviously, the OpenAI has fantastic. They've been able to execute this on a long time. But if I go to ChatGPT at this exact moment, it's down. It's at capacity. They're struggling to handle the weight of usage of this system, where Google has been running relatively smoothly for years on end, not just Google itself, but YouTube, Google Maps, huge multimedia applications serving billions of people every single day with barely any downtime or lag or problem. And yes, maybe you've experienced some yourself, but overall, I think we've got to admit it's pretty good. And from a downtime perspective, what we've seen from ChatGPT versus Google, and again, I know they're early stage companies, we've just got to think of the scale that Google has been operating. Now, one of the other super interesting pieces here is that Google actually it is grabbing information in real time and organizing that information. And if you've experienced ChatGPT, you can see the fundamental limitations. And I guess the idea here is that they have only trained their system until 2021. I'm not sure when in 2021. But as an example, I did a query around Adam Newman of WeWork, and it gave me this wonderful description of how Adam Newman was a success story and how successful WeWork was. And my understanding, my guess is that it didn't have the information on the downfall of WeWork that had actually happened after the model had been trained. And so it just gave me the information that it knew at the time, whereas Google has real world access to this information and can train that model that they're generating in real time. And what is that model? We've seen this talked about publicly. It's not like people think like, hey, it says chat. I don't know why I'm taking such a negative tone here. I just think this is really short-sighted. There's some really smart people who are talking about this. I don't think the really smart people are saying, hey, Google is done. But I think there is this sort of hysteria around it that I just think is really sort of short-sighted, not I don't know, just not comprehending the scale that Google is operating, the fact that they already have their own version of this. Yes, it's not maybe as publicly accessible as the way that OpenAI released it, but like we've already had people internally in Google interact with this system and say that it's conscious. So it's not like LaMDA, Google's version of this, is dumb, and I just don't think we're thinking about how easily that Google can execute on this. And I think this also speaks to something that we've seen over and over again, is where when you have like a scale that is as big as Google, how quickly you can deploy technologies and have mass adoption at speed. And the one example that I think about is Google Docs did a summarization feature where it would auto summarize what was taking place in the Google Doc, which was a thing that companies were building entire business models off. They released that, immediately deployed that into Google Docs, and then touches billions and billions of people immediately. And so that's the same functionality that they have here. There is nothing stopping them from embedding. I mean, there may be something stopping them. I'm guessing it's related to the business model in Google search. And I think that's where maybe there's some conflict here, which is Google is incentivized to serve up multiple results on the search engine results page, and then multiple of those are often pay-per-click advertising, and that is basically the prime driver of Google's business, and that is a massive business. And so they are incentivized for that not to go away. Now, so to me, that's the biggest challenge. It's not the technical challenge. It's not the access to information. It's not the talent that they need to make this happen. It is fundamentally, how do they incorporate this kind of, say, language interaction or information interaction without cannibalizing Google's business model or the vast amount of customers / partners, however they look at them, during that process. So I'm guessing that this is one of sort of Google's core, that sort of one of their missions, maybe not core, that they're working on figuring out, especially as they see the adoption, the excitement of ChatGPT here. And the other thing that I wanted to then sort of point out to just sort of, I think, support this case is the the speed that they can they can move at. So, for example, within a day or two of Facebook releasing their meta sort of text to video. This is actually images, but Google released image and video. And then they said, hey, let's go up a notch, and we'll do Funaki. I still not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but let's synthesize video multi-prompt so that they can create continuous video over time with understanding that can tell a story. So I think what we've seen here as Stable Diffusion rose, as OpenAI rose. First of all, Google's seeing people searching for this, exactly what they're searching, what they want to know, what they want to accomplish with it, so they can execute on that. They have the technology, they have the capability, they have the servers, all of that. And when they are motivated and inspired, they can move at incredible in speed to deploy those technologies and then reach people at scale. And there is opportunities with this, obviously, with OpenAI embedded into Microsoft and Microsoft Teams and all of this stuff. But Google has that same strength. And even though Microsoft is invested in OpenAI, there's maybe still a little bit alignment that's required there to then release it directly into systems. There's a couple other things that I'm just thinking of, which is we are liking the responses that ChatGPT has created, but in general, like even as I'm looking here, it's like this article is telling me information which is meaningful, but it's also giving me video and image context to help me understand what I need to understand better. GPT in its current state is lacking that part. Of course, there's this sort of idea of pairing it with DALL-E, or there's other ways that ChatGPT can be enhanced to include meta information and all this, but then does it just cannibalize it and become another version of Google search? Like, these are, I think, things that we're not necessarily thinking about, whereas even in a how-to guide, it's great to get, a listed out description by ChatGPT, but I want to see some images along the way of how to pour properly, or whatever it is, whatever shitty example that I'm thinking of right now. And just in a general piece here, like ChatGPT, and I have somewhere in the quotes, but just Sam Altman talking about the compute costs of ChatGPT just being ridiculous, right? Yeah, exactly. We will have to monetize it somehow at some point, because the compute costs are eye-watering. Great, a million users in 5 days. That's fantastic. There's lots of good signals that this is a great time for OpenAI, that they're doing some incredible work. But I just wanted to sort of tackle some of these, I think, hyperbolic, overblown claims that this is an end to Google search. They will adapt. They will continue. They're still one of the best businesses probably ever built in the world. They're not stupid people, and they have a lot of resources and a lot of talent to be able to execute on this. And they're already ahead, seeing signals in real time of where they need to guide this from a product development, from a marketing standpoint. And I don't think we should discount them on this journey. So I love both. I love OpenAI. I want to see them continuing moving forward. I want to see Google and Alphabet continuing moving forward, and building just incredible applications and functionality using machine learning and large language models to do just mind-blowing stuff. And I think that will continue in parallel. There will be, at least in this current time, no destroyer of each other. And if there was one to be destroyed here, I think OpenAI would be the one who is, David fighting Goliath, even with the massive amount of resources that they have. So let me know what you think about this. Would love to hear. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm wrong. It would be great to know why. I always love learning. I love the feedback loop. As always, I've got some great resources here, and I'm going to continue to talk about content like this. There's a lot more stuff happening right now that's super interesting. I look forward to creating some videos on. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.